All right, all right. So, ooh, I have my listening on. Let's get that off there. All right. So, we are going to be doing some more Minecrafting today. Let me switch you guys over. And bam. Hello. We'll wait a little bit while people might be coming in. Might have somebody stop by while I am streaming. Real quick, I want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching so far this week. I've had a lot of engagement this week, a lot of people tuning in, like a lot for me, like, 5 or 6 people tuning in. It's been great. Also, I've been getting a pretty consistent amount of people over at YouTube checking on the VODs of these streams. So thank you guys for hitting that over there. Remember, I have an Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Mr. Retro, MMRRETRO, 2 M's, 2 R's, ETRO, where you guys can get updated on lots of different things. Once my life kind of settles down a little bit, I'll be able to do some more different things, post some more different things, especially in the social media platforms like Instagram. I love taking pictures of like my collections of stuff, so especially my game collections. So be on the lookout for that. It's pretty much like lots of appreciation posts to kind of stir discussion, get people talking about all that. So thank you guys for chugging along with me. So I wasn't able to really play a whole lot in between this stream and the last. So I did a little bit of mining, just like a little bit, in a tunnel. Ooh, my ring light is bright. Let me turn you down. Oh, much better, much better. A little less harsh on my face. But yeah, I was able to do just a little bit of mining. So don't be expecting my my tunnel to look great. So yeah, it hasn't. I haven't been able to do much, but we're gonna start with my mine today. Then we're gonna jump in to moving some villagers, because that's gonna be frustrating, and I'm gonna need company for that. So, all right, let's look at our stock of stuff. All right, let's get these radishes up. So I'm pretty much now with these just building up enough supply to when I make the automated ones. Yeah, not a secret tunnel grid. What's up, Bryson? Yeah, it's my mining tunnel. I'll show you where that is here in a minute if you haven't seen it. Just try to build up enough of a supply so when I start making my big massive passive farms, I will have enough stocked up for that. Also, seeds are great for breeding chickens, which I have not gotten yet. Chickens, ooh, chicken farm is easy. Clawley, you're here! Awesome. You said that you lied to me. You said that you weren't gonna tune in. I mean, I'm not mad about it. But you lied to me. Trust broken. But yeah, I want to get some big, massive farms done because we are going to really dive into villager trading. Oh, they decided to go to bed? Well, I mean, it's an old people thing. I get it sometimes. You broke my trust. The circle of trust has been broken. It's such a big deal. All right. So, yeah, I got a little bit of iron, not enough to really make any more hoppers. So we'll go mining some more. Let's grab some of these. We're going to grab all that we have. I need my shears because we are going to make some jack-o'-lanterns. I will probably need more of you. Shears. I wish there was a better way of making jack-o'-lanterns. Like, It's super inconvenient that you actually have to set these down and then shear them to get them to turn into jack-o'-lanterns. It drives me nuts. I wish you could just put them in a crafting table with shears, and then the shears pop out, or they just stay there, and then you are left with, um, like it pops out the jack-o'-lanterns and then pops out your shears. I think that would be a perfect implementation of that, and a way to streamline it, and still like you still have to have both items to to do it. So, and it would just make it way easier, way faster. So I much like am here. I am here. But yeah, I um my girls went to bed. Let me take my torches off so I don't get that happening. My girls went to bed. We did lots of snuggle time today, which I love snuggle time. It's one of my favorites. But I'm gonna be soloing it up tomorrow afternoon with my girls because my wife is gonna go hang out with some of her friends in Kansas City. You know where the Nims is, not with him, but in the same general vicinity. And so I'm gonna be soloing it up. Yeah, shearing pumpkins is the worst quality. It's it's not that, it's not necessary. Like, I'm glad that they add that as a step. I think it makes sense. Um, it makes it to where shears have another purpose. Um, you pumpkins don't just naturally look like this anymore. I think it's a good mechanic. It's just they need to streamline it a little bit better. Um, and I think being able to throw both shears and pumpkins into a crafting table would be the best way to solve that, because you still have it. It just takes out it takes out this part of it where you have to set it down, because then you're also using your durability on an axe. It's awful. So we are going to make a bunch of these to be our kind of subtle lighting in our stairway. I thought a lot about this, and this was the most resource NIMS does. And what it does is it uses the observer to get a signal from when the pumpkin turns from a pumpkin to a jack-o'-lantern, or to just a carved pumpkin, and then I think the piston pops it out, and then it throws it down into a hopper. So that makes it that way. But like, that is a simple redstone machine that should just do what a crafting bench does, in my opinion. Um, I honestly think that it should be, you put pumpkins, this, and then you click that and you get a stack of carved pumpkins, and then your shears pop out. I think that would be it. I think that because you're still using the same thing, and you don't necessarily need a redstone mechanic for it. Um, but again, my opinion, you know, it is not solely my decision, but I would enjoy it more that way. All right, so we got lots of seeds, which we are going to throw in here. I'm going to throw my shears back. Yeah, so we're going to go down here, and I'm going to show you guys kind of what I wanted to do. So let's see, I'm going to leak water everywhere. I might do it a little bit. That'll be okay. So we'll start here, and I'll just make this just a regular block. I think that's how he does it. That's how I would do it with that kind of mechanic. Clawley, from what I saw of his, that's what I'm assuming it is. It's just using the observer to pick up the change in block state. So, and I'm not as good with redstone as Nims is. He's a lot better at that and can kind of create it. I'm one of those where I see it. The pillagers, yeah. they're my little family. I gotta have. You know what we could do? Oh, next name tag I get. I know what I'm doing. Okay. Uh, so I'll just tell you. We should name one Spike. Next next name tag I get, I'm gonna name one of those other ones that are over there Spike. I think that'll be good. So what I want to do is lay them down here, and then no, actually, I want to lay them down one more, and then there will be like a glass block. Yeah, right. A spike pillager would be great. Then there'll be either like a grass block, and then we're gonna use fences here. And then the fences I want to use, I'm going to mix the dark oak and the birch because of the high contrast. I think that'll look good. We could name another. Yeah, grid. Yeah, not bullet. We could name another one, not bullet. Be like, that's not bullet. We have a spike and a not bullet. Um, but yeah, this is my plan to light the. Um, did I do that wrong? I did that wrong. Dumb. I dumb. I'm sorry. Um, but this is my plan to have lighting, but not something that's really, really abrasive. Hello, Mr. Vinny. How are you today, good sir? I hope your Friday has been fantastic. My Friday has been good. Yeah, I know. I might, when the girls go to sleep tomorrow night, I might do a Saturday stream at night, where I do some Blair Witch time. Because I agree with you. Like I'm just so anxious to see how it ends. Um, and like there's so much stuff happening. There's a lot of little things with the story that I find really interesting, like his relationship with Jess. Um, his relationship with Jess. I want to see. I want to hear more about it, and I want to see where that goes. I want to see more with his stuff with his military career. Because it looked like they went into they got ambushed, and he kind of was in charge of that group and got his crew taken out. So I want to see more of that because right now we're getting flashbacks and we're seeing how it affects him. So I want to get more of the whys instead of seeing the whats. And yes, we have to see our boy Spike. I agree, Grid. We have to see our good boy, our nice fluffy boy. But I uh I think tomorrow will be a good day. He definitely does. That's gonna be first thing we do. So if I do end up streaming tomorrow night, I'll let you guys know on like Instagram and stuff earlier in the day if that will be a possibility for me. And if it is, you got to remind me because first thing we do is give him scratches and treats because we didn't give him any. I think we gave him one scratch yesterday and no treats. We haven't given him. Yeah, we did no treats, so we got to give him treats and a scratch because he did good. He was a good boy. Oh yeah, but your birthday party's during the day though, so mine's gonna be like at night when it's scary. I was like, unless you're letting your kiddo stay up super late on her birthday, which I mean, that's a you problem. Having a cranky kiddo the next day, that's on you. There'll be no judgment for me because you have all the consequences there. All right, so let's do a little bit of the design in there. Um, but that's a you problem. Yes, Glolly. That is a you problem, not specifically a me problem. We need something because I want to use this. I'm going to use this at the top, but I have to pick a good block for the background. Ooh, you know what would be a good block? That is going to, like, it is going to clash so much. Husband says that to you all the time. Oh man, I get that. I've done that before. Like my wife will be like upset with something. I'm like, honestly, like there's not much I can do. So that's a you problem. In the most non-supportive way. Oh, FedEx is late. Oh, that's too bad. I'm sure she'll understand. She's a pretty understanding kiddo. Uh, You know, your kiddo is a very understanding kid. I would hope that she'd be like, "Oh, I still get it though." And then once she understands that, she's gonna be like, "Yeah, fine, whatever, get out of here." um, but yeah, I think yeah, let's do that. And put you there, and you there, and then you there. There we go. All right. But yeah, let's do that. I think that's gonna look I don't know if it's gonna look good, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I love red sandstone. It's gonna look good. He usually gives it jokingly. Once he said it to me during an argument, it didn't go over well from. You know, honestly, like my wife and I have been married since 2011, but we've been together. We're high school sweethearts, so we've been together since 2003. So we've literally probably had every kind of argument, which, it doesn't make me an expert. It just gives me a lot of experience of being yelled at. and and I mean that in the best way possible. um uh but like it's one of those things where honestly, like arguments aren't they never feel productive, especially during, because like you're just like if you're getting to the point where you're just shouting at each other, it doesn't ever feel productive because like there's not much you can gain by getting that upset. Um, and so it's definitely something that arguments need to be like there needs to be a way to teach how to argue with a spouse or a partner better, because I will tell you what, it does there's no amount of experience that makes having an argument easier or better, and no one ever wins an argument, because even if like you are factually correct in something, you may have hurt the feelings and the pride of your partner, which isn't a win. In the end of the game, it's not a win. But I do love to argue. That is correct. Grid and I argue all the time. It's because a lot of the times we think the same way. um, you and the girls better cameo. Yeah, well, we will if they are in a mood that is if they are behaving in a way that necessitates company, that they can give to somebody, then yes, we will make an appearance. But if they are being crankpots about everything, we may have to, uh, we could do a Zoom or like a video call. We could send a video of wishing your kiddo a happy birthday, um, because I don't want to put more grumpy kids in a situation at a birthday party for anybody, because no one wins. No one wins that one either. um, argue about being on the same side. Yeah, usually we're like, who is more specific? Like, who has the best specific technicality in that argument is usually what our arguments come down to with Grid and I. Um, oh, how do we like this? The stripes? Are we feeling this? Because honestly, I like it. It kind of like reminds me of like those like great value. You're very welcome, Grid. Um, uh, your it kind of reminds me of those great value cookies that you get, like the Walmart brand cookies, like the off-brand Oreos. That's what the color palette right there reminds me of, with the kind of uh tannish yellow and this like chocolatey brown look. Yeah, we went to couples counseling for a while. I don't think we could be married if we. Counseling is good, but like I understand when people don't enjoy counseling, because there's going to be times when you're a counselor or a therapist. agrees with your partner and not you about how you handle a situation, and it's gonna feel like they're taking sides, uh, and then that's gonna make you feel like betrayed in that situation. So yeah, I think the stripes are look good, and especially as we go down, that stripe is gonna have a cool effect. Um, and then with this light here, it's not gonna be a lot of light, but these aren't spawnable blocks, but it's gonna give us just enough light. Because I'm gonna take out these torches eventually too. I think that'll look really good. Um, but yeah. Yes, it does give off kind of the uh, autumn vibes. Yeah, that's a great description. It's our autumn tunnel. Ooh, we could definitely do a Four Seasons theme. I don't know how that's gonna fit in with the rest of the stuff I have planned, but I like that kind of that thought process in it. Um, okay. Let's get this wall taken out, and then we can drop the jack-o'-lanterns because we don't have enough of the red sandstone, which I mean we are right next to a desert, so that doesn't really matter. We just don't have any on hand right now. But we can at least get the light in here and start seeing some of the shape of everything. You see. Oh yeah, that's not how you win. Yeah, like I mean, like it, it's it is how you win if you think of arguing like a competition instead of a cooperation. Is kind of how I've heard it explained. And that's kind of I agree with that a lot. Like if you think arguing is a competition, then yes, you are always going to either feel like you win or lose. But if arguing is about cooperation, about coming to an understanding that maybe that benefits that well, obviously it would have to benefit you in the situation, then I would think that understanding it as cooperation wouldn't be winning or losing. Um, because when you both win, everybody wins. The couple wins. When the individuals win um, together, that partnership is stronger. But yeah, I had a good day with my guys at the center. They did really well. One of the gentleman's birthday. He turns 17 tomorrow. And so we kind of had a fun Friday. So they got to relax. They got to watch some movies. A lot of my guys are people of color, and so they and they're kind of raised in such a way and in an environment that they haven't. They have been kind of marginalized, so they kind of gravitate towards certain themes and certain things. Um, but a lot of my guys uh, seasonal themes rule. I have an Eminem villain who has different powers depending on the season. His name is Equinox. That's cool. I like that. I like powers that change dependent on something else, like an outside variable, not something that they control. That's kind of like one of the reasons why I like kind of like Legion as a character, because of that. The dissociative personality disorder, where having multiple personalities and each personality has its own power set. I think that's pretty interesting because it's something outside of their realm of control. What was I saying? Oh, but one of the things that they do like to do is they like almost every one of my guys in my class loves to read. Like they are always carrying around a book, and one of the books is about a family of color who it's called The Family Business. I don't know, God, I don't remember who wrote it, but it's called The Family Business, and it's about a family who's kind of created this generational wealth by having an automotive company, like a big dealership, dealing in boutique cars and expensive cars, luxury vehicles, but they also transport illicit materials like drugs and things like that in their vehicles and things when they ship them around the world and around the states. So it kind of gives you you get a sort of criminal aspect of it, but it's like something that you would see a lot from more white families with. kind of the white collar crime kind of thing. So they're running things over there. Was Legion or Crazy Jane first? I don't know who was first. I think they each do a good job representing, um, like Typhoid Mary, Crazy Jane. That ideal of the personality kind of governs what is happening. I don't know who did it first. They kind of serve different themes. Legion was okay. They kind of serve different themes. Like Legion is mostly about the disorder, kind of like it's obviously to flex the power of the disorder of being able to shift between different powers and such. But yeah, uh, Typhoid Mary hers kind of exploits the espionage aspect of it, I think. Um, but yeah. Anyway, so we watched BET did kind of like a made for TV movie of the book series. So it's like a limited series based on the books, and the acting is so bad. We were watching the first part of it, and the acting is super bad, but Keith David is the family father, the father that started the business. And I was like hooting and hollering. I said, "Yeah, I love me some Keith David." And they're like, "Why?" I was like, "He's got one of the cool, like he's got such a cool voice. It's not like the typical Morgan Freeman kind of narrator voice, but he does have a um very specific sounding voice." And I was like, could you imagine him being your dad telling you to go clean your room? Like you would feel super threatened, but also be like, "Oh my god, it's Keith David yelling at me." Yes, and because Goliath, um, he does a lot of voice work, and his voice work is great because his voice is very iconic sounding, um, especially for roles such like Goliath and such. Um, but yeah, it was interesting, and you could definitely tell that there were better actors who could make use of a very limited kind of script because it feels like they wrote that screenplay by just photocopying the book. Because the dialogue is a little thinner than what a TV show or series would need. Um, and some of the direction was a little flat, but I mean, it was fine, but the guys were kind of ripping it for its for for how bad the acting was. But yeah, it was good. But we had a pretty good day, um, so I was pretty happy getting more settled in my position and finally got all my login stuff. So now I can actually start doing some work and getting some lessons planned in their system because they do not use tech um, very much at all. So, and I'm going to be migrating them all to tech. Like everything is going to be tech based. That way we don't have to search for hard copies of stuff. It'll all just be there. Goliath, Spawn, the Arbiter. Yeah. Um, I always forget that he voiced Spawn just because, like, I remember because I was a fan of Spawn when I was a kid. Because I had a few of the comics. Because I got them at a flea market pretty cheap. I got like a box full of comics. I think I had like $10 saved up. The guy sold a box full of comics. Um, and there was a couple Spawn issues in there, and so I was a fan. And then when the like HBO movies that Todd McFarlane did, sometimes that can make a movie more fun. Yeah, a little bit. These weren't that fun. It was like if Fast and the Furious had worse dialogue. That's really what it was. That's what it felt like. But anyway, so the Spawn, Todd McFarlane, like HBO movies, that came out that are very explicit and mature. Well, we rented them at Blockbuster, um, and I guess they didn't tell my mom that they were like mature movies. And so I remember putting in the VCR in my room and watching it, and it is very explicit. Like it was one of those where I paused it and like turned it off because I thought I was gonna get in trouble. Um it was one of those where I was like, I don't know what's happening. I and because back then when I was a kid, like if I was watching that stuff, I got in deep trouble. So I didn't want to make it worse for myself if I didn't need to. And it was just one of those things where I had no idea. So like I remember watching that movie being like I would watch it a little bit and then I pause it and like make sure my mom's not coming up the stairs to my room and then I watch a little bit more and it was pretty intense, but I always forget he's in it because I've only watched those once in my life. It was when I was in the sixth grade, maybe. Um, but yeah, I think all those comics are at my father's house because I lived with him for a little bit. Um, and I had the first appearance of Azazel. I had that one, which was a pretty cool. It was a reprint of the first appearance of Azazel, and had a silver border. This is like the silver limited series run where they did reprints. But that one was really good because it showed some really cool things with how Batman was exploring like steroid use to be stronger to fight villains, and it was interesting. You have those movies on Blu-ray? Yeah, they are wild. Like I remember, oh god, I remember seeing a clip of it somewhere, and it was like one of the more raunchier clips. And I was a full-fledged adult, and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch. Not Azazel, Azrael. You are correct. Thank you for the clarification. Because Azazel is Nightcrawler's dad, right? The one from First Class, who they gave like one line of dialogue and made him super cool. Yeah, sometimes he is his dad. Um, but I think those comics are at my dad's house, which would be nice to get them. But I haven't been to my dad's house in years. Usually comes up here. Okay. Um, let's finish this up, and then we can go maybe get some red sand and do some more exploring over in there because there is more mineshaft area stuff. Mineshaft area stuff. So, Grid, how was your day today? I assumed you got your kiddo. One line of dialogue body count of 17. Yeah, he had I think he technically had a higher body count on screen than Shaw did in that movie. Um, Still think Kevin Bacon should have been Mr. Sinister because I mean he looks just like him. Same jawline, everything. And when he has like that, when Kevin Bacon has like that kind of shorter military-esque haircut, he has the same kind of hairstyle as Mr. Sinister. I think it would have been better, but what do you know? And it could have set up Apocalypse even better and a little closer to the source material. Fine, got a little writing done, got a little cleaning done. Oh, is he sleeping over? Awesome. Been eating junk with all the kiddos and watching movies. That's cool. I miss that little guy. He's so ornery. He's such a cutie though. If we come over, I'm definitely gonna have to spend some time with him because he is one of those kiddos who like he cracks me up. I took a nap when I got home. Oh, he will be? Okay. Yeah, I remember you saying that. I took a nap when I got home, and I woke up, and all the girls were home, and they were sitting on the couch. Mira was watching TV with the wife, and Elle was doing stuff on her iPad for school. She was doing some work there. She was very proud of her work. She's doing some um, her sight words on there and doing some spelling with it. Uh, um, Oh yeah, I love the way he talks, and I love I love what he talks about. He cracks me up. Um, and then I was talking to Mira. I kind of like knelt down on the couch with my kind of hands in her lap, and we were talking to each other. I asked her about her day and which one of her friends in her twos classroom she was playing with, and she has a best friend, little boy named Gio, short for Giovanni, and he is a pretty adorable kid. He's one of the other teachers' kids in there, but they are pretty close in age in their classroom anyway. Like I think they're within a couple weeks of each other, and uh, she I love the way she says. I was like, "Who'd you play with today?" She goes, "Gio." And I was like, "Oh, you love your buddy Gio." She goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "Who else did you play with today?" She goes, "Lincoln." I was like, "Ooh." And she's like, "And Robin." I was like, "Okay, who else?" And she's like, "And Jenna, Miss Jenna." And then yeah, but she hung out in the threes class a little bit today, which is fun for her because the threes teacher is super sassy and cracked up whatever Mira is sassy. So, oh, all A's for your kiddo. That's awesome. She's a super smart kid. I wonder where she gets it from. 'Cause it ain't you. But yeah. Did I tell you your sister moved from the big room to bring? Oh, she's the twos teacher now. It's different. It is very different. It's where you get a little bit more defiance. They don't have always that vocabulary to tell you what is their problem. Um, two, twos wasn't the roughest age when I used to work at the daycare, but it's one of the more difficult just because of it, it's nothing on them. It's just their development at that point. But yeah, it's threes were like the bane of my existence when I used to work at a daycare. It was because not only are they limited dexterity and mobility because they're very small like a twos, but now they have the vocabulary to tell you good things, which is fine, and tell you what's wrong. But now they can tell you what you're doing wrong and how much they don't like it. So you get a lot more interesting conversations from threes. Two, honestly, two is not bad, Clawley. Two, like I've enjoyed both of my kiddos being two. Um, Ellie was a very curious 2 year old. She's her own little beast as it is. Like she wears her heart on her sleeve. Like emotions are exposed all the time. And she and which is completely fine, and it makes it to where we can really have conversations about her emotions, and that really triggered from two, which was great because now we talk about that stuff pretty easily all the time. um Two wasn't too bad. Three was probably the roughest so far, just because of kind of the reasons I talked about, like the limited mobility and some of the temper that you get with twos because you get a lot of brain leaps at the 18-month to 2.5. And so yeah, and three's not really something to be scared of. It's just going to be the most you're going to need the most patience, um in my opinion, because three, it's just you know they have like a regression in that time. They're gonna do a couple other brain leaps too, so it isn't something like people always told me twos are scary or whatever age is scary. It's like it's not all scary. It's just your patience level has to change. Right now, Ellie's 6, and there are times when it's tough because she now has more evolved vocabulary, but she still has a very developing small child brain, and she's now interacting with other kids, and so she's having to deal with how she feels with that. Um, so it's just different experiences that can kind of make it more difficult. There's nothing that is inherently more difficult about that stuff. Infancy is the worst. Kiddo game. Yeah, yeah. Infancy is the most hands-on because yeah, like they can't do anything themselves. They literally do not have the muscles yet to do that. um, Thanks Go Plan will have a 3-year-old and a new one. You know, that's about what my kiddos, like the age difference. They have about 3 years because um Ellie was 4 when Mir was born. And what's great, what worked well with her is because you're gonna get a little jealousy, but how we curbed that was with Ellie became the helper, and so she got to make a lot of the choices that we would normally make for Mira. So like what she wore, like there's nothing that says that your 4-year-old or 3-year-old can't pick out your baby's outfit for the day, and so we let Ellie pick out her outfit for the day, and she loved that. The moment that she got to make decisions and choices that we most often didn't say no to, she thought that was one of the best things in the world. That was like her. That was something that she loved, and so she would get diapers for us. She became an excellent helper. Um, and so yeah, uh, being able to have children is one of those things where uh, often things go so wrong, or things just don't quite work out, and even sometimes, even if you are physically able to, the planning and timing and finances and everything like that don't work out, and it's rough, especially if you are in the headspace and you feel ready for it. um that can be pretty disheartening. uh I wish you well on kind of that. um Yeah, I have a buddy who he adopted his son. They actually adopted his son from South Korea. So, and we started hanging out at the beginning of their kind of process with that. So, um, and they were placed, like they were connected and placed with him when he was like 6 months old, and they brought him home just after his second birthday. Um, and so, yeah, he is very cute, very smart. He has skipped a grade already. He was in kindergarten, and they were like letting him do all of first grade work essentially. Um, and so halfway through, they just pushed him up to first grade. But yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I actually know some people who have done that as well, who have adopted like a sibling's child because they may have had their own issues or something. Hold on, guys. All right. Yeah, I'm back. My wife came down to give me some news about some personal stuff, some family stuff. So, I'm gonna finish the stream because we got about 15 minutes left. Um, you guys didn't break it. None of you broke it. I had to take a minute to talk to the wife. But yeah, well, I some family stuff came up, so but we've got a little bit of time left, and I just have to make a phone call. So, um, yeah, say hi to my sister for you. Yes, I will. And she's fine. Just we have a family thing that happened. Um, And if you know me personally and want to talk later, that's fine, and ask, but I won't do it on stream. But I'm okay. it's just a sad thing. Um, but yeah, let's go get some sand and stuff. Some sand, some red sand. Oh, I my sister had called me and I have to call her back. Um, but my wife came down and gave me a message. So, um, but yeah. Um, yeah, let's go get some sand, some red sand, maybe do a little exploring of those mines. Um, yeah, hop on over. She's she likes to pretend she's shy. Like she's one of those where she's shy for like the first 10 minutes, but once she gets comfortable enough to talk to you, it's all over for you. Like she'll just talk to you nonstop. Can we do a winter tunnel? You know, um, we could. In fact, I would like to do like lots of themed things like that. We could do a winter tunnel to something else. We can't do it in the Nether, but I could take snow to the end, and we could use snow for different things there. I think that would be pretty cool. Um, I don't know if snow stops mobs from spawning. I don't know if snow blocks do. Uh, yeah, you've known my wife long technically longer than I have, because you guys were school together and stuff. But um, yeah, and well, technically, me and you didn't really hang out in high school either. So, like we had like I think 2 classes together. We've definitely hung out more outside of high school because we discovered that we are both big dorks. Um, so I told my guys at the center today that I didn't go to bed until late. Yeah, well, when you worked at GameStop, we had a few conversations about games. I remember, oh gosh, I remember when you were working at GameStop and you were playing Shadow of the Colossus, just sitting up there at the register, and we chatted a little bit about the game. um, because you were down there by South Belt GameStop by Walmart. Um, but yeah, I told my guys I was playing some tabletop games. They're like, "What do you?" They were like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Have you heard the game D&D?" They're like, "Is that Dungeons and Dragons?" I go, "Yeah." Well, this game is like that. And they're like, "Oh." I was like, "Yeah, it's just like, but it's like superhero thing." They're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." Um, and I told him, I was like, honestly, I'd love to do that stuff with you guys because I think you guys would have a blast. Once you get over, because, some people have reservations about it because they think, nerdy things aren't cool or whatever. But once you get past that, you can have a blast with it. Like once you get over yourself and you put your ego aside and, relax enough to, and be vulnerable enough to have fun and be goofy and, use your imagination as an adult. Um, it's good. I enjoy it. I'm glad I've picked it up. I played like one game of D&D in college, and I really enjoyed it. But I didn't have friends who played or ran games that I knew well enough that I would feel comfortable with it. Yeah, I remember you told me about that you did that for them. Um, but I think it'd be a lot of fun, and I think they would have a lot of fun. And there's 9 guys, so like not all of them would have to participate. And some of them are older, some of them are a little younger. I think the youngest is 15, 16. Clawley, honestly, from our conversations that we've had, I think you would have a blast. Um, I had an idea once to talk to Nims about, because Nims and I have talked about playing a game or having him run a game and I play. We could do like a Discord game. So I think me, you, Nims, like if Nims ran a game um, on Discord, like we could do it a lot with his base. Castle, I think would have fun. Yeah, I hope he comes back. I miss the turd. Um, and I didn't see him at Thanksgiving because they were playing it safe, which is great for them. Because his girlfriend's my uncle-in-law was playing it safe too, so we didn't see really any of that side of the family. Um, and um, so I haven't seen him then, and I likely won't see him at Christmas either, especially with people not really still taking things seriously, which is only going to make things worse. Um, Worse as in the same, but comes down to having a good first DM. Yeah, I would say it does. Technically my first DM in college was one of my fraternity brothers, and he was one that kind of reaffirmed that being older and um and still exploring some of the things that some people would consider immature or childish. He normalized that and made it interesting and fun. He's a super cool guy. Yeah, but not like Greek life fraternity. Like it's a music fraternity. So honestly, like it was really just a bunch of us choir, band, and theater guys all hanging out, singing and stuff. So it's not like we didn't have a house. It was a social fraternity, and we did stuff like that. Yeah, we could still be friends. And yeah, it wasn't like that. Now, the fraternity I'm in other states around the country is more like Greek life-ish. But at the college I went to, uh, it wasn't. And Greek life was very different than what we did. We were very anti-hazing, very anti a lot of that stuff. Like we still like did the typical things where we would hang out together, but we didn't have fraternity functions where we like got drunk or anything. That actually goes against the bylaws for our stuff. So, um, so we wouldn't do any of that nonsense. Um, but like we would hang out because we were all in the same classes ideally, and we would all hang out together outside of fraternity meetings. So we were all friends, and so we'd all hang out and party together anyway. Um, but yeah, it was never like fraternity related. But it was good. I enjoyed my time in that fraternity because I got to make great music, make a lot of really good, like, lifelong friends. Um, I feel like I expanded my perception and my perspective of the world. Um, I was not very LGBTQ educated before college. Um, I was still pretty open minded, but nowhere near to where I would be very accepting. It was more of the don't care kind of sense. Um, but really, being really good friends with people who had experiences far different from me really opened my eyes in college. And like it's not their responsibility to educate me. I was my own person. I It's my own responsibility to educate myself in the world. But they're being friends with them and understanding and seeing things through their eyes definitely did um, uh, make me feel like I was being more socially conscious of things that aren't my own experience. So um, and that's something like I'll take and expand on forever. And it's something I try to do now. Even though I'm not particularly, I don't particularly identify in that group and don't can't speak for that group. I try to educate on behalf, just so the experience of communication between straight white guys and gay white guys is on a more accepting and tolerable level than what it has been in our history, in our history's past, because straight white guys are awful. We have been raised to be very hateful. So I want to try to rectify that and change that as much as I can for my own very small sphere of influence. But yeah, it got dark real fast. I got a lot of red sand though. This should be enough to at least maybe. I forget that it doesn't. Well, that's a spider. It's gonna come after me. Thank you. It's I forget that. Oh, there's a witch too. Going over here. I may die before I get back. um, I forget that it doesn't. You don't get it block for block. It's 1 for 4, or 4 for 1. Excuse me. When you make sand to sandstone, so that'll lower that down a little bit. But a very conservative small town, Utah. Yeah, that sounds pretty typical of my experience. I am ashamed to admit that, when I was younger and very uneducated on others' life experiences, I participated in those bouts of teasing and bullying, and that's something I wish I could go back and change, just because it's embarrassing to look back on how ignorant you were on on that, just because, like, those people did nothing to me. Those people, um, their first and likely last impression of me, as when they think back to their childhood, is someone who was very close-minded and ignorant. Um, and that's not good. Not good at all. And I don't want that anymore, so I try not to. All right, let's craft this up into some blocks. Blocky blocks. More blocky blocks. And then we're going to throw this in the stone cutter. Make our smooth. There we go. Let's sleep, and let's throw this in there too. Yeah. Oh, thank you, phone, for letting me know. Yeah. Looking back on past me is, we all get embarrassed looking back, stupid things that we've said or done or felt or thought, but it's a little different when it affects someone else so negatively. But I'm trying to do better raising my kids differently than how I was raised, and kind of the thought processes that were ingrained in me. Yeah, like, a lot of my guys are, you can definitely tell they were raised in that same sort of mentality that I was raised in when I was younger. And I haven't really held back. Like, they oftentimes will use words that are not acceptable. And since a lot of them are guys, people of color, they use the N word a lot. Which, I mean, it's not my say to say that they can't say that. That's not my right. That's not. I'm not in that community to dictate what words that they can take back and use. But I would like to calm that, especially when we have visitors. When they're with their guys and their fellas, hanging out, that's different. But when we are in the company of others, we might want to taper that back some. But they also use the F word a lot, which is very triggering for me. I do not like that word. And so I've been squashing it as much as I can, and just letting them know. They use the word gay as stupid. They say that's gay as saying that's stupid. And I questioned them on it. I was like, do you mean that is homosexual, or do you mean that is stupid? Because if it's stupid, just say it's stupid. Like, if that's what you mean, say it. Don't use a word that has been used against a group of people to mean stupid, because then you're implying, the implication there is that that group is stupid. And so I've been trying to not just yell at them and say don't say that. I've been trying to give them the logical reason for it. Which is tough, because that's not the way they were raised. That's that some of those guys have 20 years of ingrained of conditioning that says that is acceptable in polite conversation. And I don't want to say that they are ignorant for saying that, but ignorance as in a word for just not being taught, or not having the knowledge of. Because some people take the word ignorant as an insult, and like, I'm very ignorant on a lot of things. Um, and so I want them to know that that's what I mean by that. Um, you're so much stressor. You don't have to agree with someone on everything in life, but you should still be kind. Yeah, like, and obviously, like, if you just mean to say the word stupid, it's fine to not like something. It's fine to think an idea is something that you don't like and that you don't agree with it and that you find it dumb. That's okay. It's okay to have those opinions that do not affect a person. It may affect an idea or an ideal, but let's use words that are specific to that and not and don't further marginalize uh, a group of people who have had such a long history of such marginalization. Um, it's just like when I taught elementary school, I would have fifth and sixth graders who would drop cuss words, and really I like it's so easy to just write them up for stuff like that, but they don't learn anything from that. So I would just tell them pick a different word. Like it's like I'm not going to get upset with you for using that word because if you use a cuss word, not a derogatory term for a group of people, but if you use a cuss word, technically adults use that cuss word, and if you're not allowed to use it, then adults aren't allowed to use it. Like there's not a word that is adults only. There's words that are more adult accepted because we feel that as adults we have the ability and the right to do what we want, which we know is oftentimes not the case. But still, like, just choose a different word. Like, there's no reason that you should always have to resort to just dropping, saying cuss words all the time. Just choose a different word. It's not going to hurt you. You will not die if you choose a different word. It is not a life or death situation, and to argue as if it is ridiculous. A lot of people argue as if choosing a different word will physically hurt them, and I just find that ridiculous. Especially when like they know that they're messing around, they know they're messed up. Ooh, I actually don't want to put you there. I'm gonna put a different block there, so we'll save that for later. Um, yeah, this is gonna look so good. I'm so pumped, you guys. I had such a hard time coming up with the theme, the kind of color scheme I wanted for this, and I feel like this is going to be way better than because before I was just gonna make it really, really just like neutral, lots of grays, use probably andesite and stuff like that. So and stone blocks, but I'm glad we chose some very good colors, very autumn, as Grid pointed out, which we may take into a winter theme later on. I feel like that would be very appropriate and a very cool thing, especially later on when this world is done and this series is done. I am going to have some stuff set up. I do have a Discord set up. I like using non-cuss words too. Cuss example, like what the flippity, what the flippity flip flop. Yeah, I think like okay. So full disclosure, I don't. I'm not really one of those people who think when little kids cuss, it's adorable. But like when little kids use like substitution words to cuss, I think that is amazingly adorable. The um my 2-year-old Mira, she will sometimes walk around and go, "What the heck? What the heck? What the heck?" Or she'll go, "Are you for real?" And I find that to be some of the funniest stuff because it's such like a little like teenager-ish expression or like preteen expression that my 2-year-old has picked up because it's what my wife says when she's mad and upset or when little kids are around. So I always find it to be really it is super cute, Chloe. And she's got such a grump face that it's oh my god, it's like super cute. Um but yeah. Let's put you there. Actually, no, 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 no. I think I have a spot for you in here, even though it's not super organized, but I do believe no. spots. That was a different spot, but that's gonna work for now. But yeah, let's put all this stuff away. Put it away. Put it away. But yeah, what was I saying before? Oh yes. So I do have a Discord, for me have set up. Once I get it all set up and ready, I will be dropping links for that, especially on my Twitch channel. Um, and this world will be a free download, um, for my Discord, because it's my first streaming world, and I want to do that as like a setup thing, and just set up the first streaming world, free download of the world. You can see, and you can come in and look at all of the stuff we built up close. Um, Once we get to the point where this series is over, which hopefully it's a while, I probably don't even I don't even want to create a new world until 117 drops. Because once 117 drops, that when we get cave updates, I'm gonna need to generate a new overworld. So, and I probably will still have this running for a little bit after because I want to wait till like stabilization updates come out with 117. So I might wait till like 117.1 or whatever. So, having said that, be on the lookout. If you have other people who like to watch Minecraft stuff, I'm not gonna self promote in other Discord channels just because rules, and some people don't like that, so that's fine. But if you want to spread it around, have more people look at the stuff, that would be amazing. Yeah, I know, Clawley. I was trying not to be direct. But me and you know what I'm talking about. Um, which is why I private message you now when I'm streaming. Or you could just follow me on Instagram, Collie, or Twitter, or Facebook. Or when I get my Discord channel, then you'll see when I post stream announcements. But yeah, um, I want to start building. I want to build a community and stuff, and I think the first 10, 15 people that hop in on that community can um start helping me build out things like nicknames for stuff, and then the kind of first my vets for my streams and stuff for viewers will help me build and maybe be admins for stuff. I think will be really fun and really interesting, because right now I feel really tight with you guys. I've known Vinny and Grid for a long time, and Quali, you are a pleasant individual, and so I consider you one of my Discord friends. So, and I'd like to build that community out. So be looking for announcements for stuff like that. All right, I'm gonna go take care of some life stuff, and I'm currently eating a Twizzlers pull and peel. They are fantastic, delicious. I'm supposed to save my wife some. Ooh, I look sweaty. Anyway, the uh, check me out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Mr. Retro, MMRRETRO, two M's, two R's, ETRO. Yeah, I may stream Blair Witch tomorrow. It may happen. Scary stream tomorrow. We can get some scratches and snacks for my good boy Spike. My V is very deep. My guys over at the center today were like, "You can't be wearing that deep V. You got a hairy chest." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm over 30 and I have dark hair. Like you see a big beard. It would be weird if I had a big beard and not hair here. Like I think that would look a little off. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all of you. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.